Healing from an ectopic pregnancy is so fucking hard and weird. So if you guys don't already know, before I conceived my son, literally 2 months before I conceived him, I had an ectopic pregnancy. Now, the second I find out I'm pregnant, I run my mouth, okay? Before I even have, like, that confirmation at the doctor, before I have my beta HCG or the first ultrasound or hear the heartbeat, I run my fucking mouth and I explain to everyone, like, I'm pregnant! Like, I do the whole fucking thing, right? Well, the second I got a positive pregnancy test with this baby, I knew something was wrong, and I couldn't pinpoint what. I was actually in my friend at the time's bathroom when I found out I was pregnant. I had, like, a weird suspicion, and I went into her bathroom, and I took a test, and I found out I was pregnant. Now, she was all jumping up and down for joy. She was excited, whatever. I immediately kind of like sat on the ground slowly and just felt like something's not right. Because I remember with my last 2 kids, I remembered how I felt and like I kind of knew I was pregnant, and I had like this certain pain before I knew I was pregnant, like a week before. And with this baby, I didn't feel anything at all. Now, maybe I was psyching myself out. I was like, okay, you know what, let's just tell my husband. But I never posted on social media that I found out I was pregnant right away. I didn't tell my family or any other close friends. I did a cute little gender reveal or like announcement thing for my husband. It was cute. Took the test, put it on like the dashboard of the car. We left to go get ice cream, and he saw it, and it was like a cute thing. I filmed it and everything and never posted it because deep down inside I knew something was wrong. So I tell them, let's go to the hospital. Like, something's not right. So I go there. We get a beta HCG done, and it looks really good. Great. Fantastic. Maybe it is okay, but I'm still not posting it. After I got my second testing done, it wasn't going up as quickly as we would hoped. So within 48 hours, I had to go back. And within those 48 hours, the morning of the blood draw, me and my friend went to Walmart. And in Walmart, I started gushing. Like, heavy period gushing. And I was like, I know something is wrong. Something has to be wrong. That beta HCG came back, and it was higher, but not by very much. So I went back to the doctor another 48 hours later, and the beta HCG went up like 5 or 6 points. Barely anything. So we knew it didn't even double. It didn't even halfway double. It wasn't even up at all. So we knew it was an ectopic pregnancy, and it was so early in on the ectopic pregnancy that we couldn't even do an ultrasound to necessarily detect where baby had been. Like, we tried so hard with the heat and everything to find, and she just said it's just really hard to tell. Like, we think we know, but it's just too hard to tell. I was so fucking devastated, and I left the clinic that day and just broke down in the parking lot because they had said it's an ectopic pregnancy and there's nothing you can do. You could either, sit it out and wait for a miscarriage, which could possibly end in a tubal rupture, or you can take this pill, or we could give you an injection, and this injection will make sure everything's good and gone and nothing will be stuck behind. That way, you don't risk becoming septic, you don't risk rupture, you don't risk hemorrhaging or any of that. So I ended up taking the injection. That same exact day, I turned my ass around and I walked back into the hospital and said, let's schedule it. I walked back out because my husband didn't go inside with me. He was waiting inside the car with our 2 other kids. I walked out of the hospital just bawling my eyes out. I was just crying my eyes out because obviously I just got told the baby's not viable and I'm not getting a baby out of this. So I went to the car to tell him the options, and he said, it's whatever you choose. It's whatever you choose to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. And I looked in the backseat and I looked at my kids and I just thought, I don't want to risk anything. Because at the end of the day, if anything happens to me, they're the ones that have to heal. They're the ones that have to deal with it. This baby's not viable. This baby's not even growing, and I'm pretty sure I miscarried the baby in Walmart that day anyhow, like a few days prior. So we went back into the hospital the next day and got the injection, and it was honestly so fucking painful. It was horrible, and the car ride home was so sickening and so nauseating and just god awful. And I began bleeding about 2 days after the injection. Very heavy. And it was some of the worst cramping, worst pain I had ever felt. And I've had periods that have literally sent me to the hospital because I thought something was seriously wrong, and it was just cramps. But they were so fucking bad. That pain that I felt that day was worse than giving birth. I would give birth 5 times over than experiencing that pain over again. Now, the hardest part about all of this is I never announced a pregnancy online. And I never told people that I was even pregnant. And I never got to feel excited about that baby because I knew from the start something was wrong. So I never got to feel excited. I never got to do anything, feel anything. I kept it in so much that when it ended up going bad, there was no one to talk to because I have to announce a pregnancy and death all in the same sentence. And that fucked me up worse than I think if I would have just told everyone I was pregnant and then the next week or 2 weeks later told everyone I had lost the baby. Because now it's a shock on top of a shock on top of a people needing time to process while I need help. And that's just not possible. You can't have someone process that kind of information that quick enough to jump in and help you. So with all that being said, you don't have to be quiet. You just find out you're pregnant and you want to announce it, you can announce it. Because there's no safe zone. There's no safe time. That baby can pass anytime. So living off of the fear of what if something happens, I just want you to know it's better to have someone to talk to if anything happens over having nobody to talk to and having to watch shock factors on people's faces while you're dying inside. So if you're someone who is scared to announce that you're pregnant because you're scared of losing the baby, I just want you to know if something does happen and you do end up losing that baby, it's better to have anyone and everyone to talk to and not have to watch that shock and not have to announce and not have to do that and create that awkwardness or heal alone in the quiet. That sucks. You don't have to stay quiet to keep comfort for everybody else. You could be important too. You deserve the right to be important too. And you deserve the right to grieve. You deserve the right to heal, and you deserve the right to have someone to talk to. So you don't have to silence yourself. Because grieving a pregnancy is hard enough. But grieving a pregnancy that nobody knows about is even harder.